All right, guys. So, update on the '79 Trans Am. It's been a while. I've been doing some things to it here and there. I just haven't had a lot of time till recently. So I started really cranking back up on this thing again. I just ordered a new cold case radiator for it because the one that I had gotten from the junkyard, it was just nasty. I filled it with water over the summer just to see if all the seals were going to hold, and lo and behold, one water pump seal did not hold. It was dripping, and two, there was so much crap that came out of that thing, it was ridiculous. So I opted to go with a new cold case radiator. Did some work to the front end. I took the headlight bezels out, stripped them down, basically Harbor Freight little sandblaster. Got some fine grit from Tractor Supply. Did them all down, and then powder coated them because I've got a small powder coat oven that I built myself. So powder coated those, powder coated the bezels and the radiator core supports, or not the core supports, the arms that go from the fender to the radiator core support. So I got a buddy of mine supposed to be helping me out, but haven't been able to get a hold of him as of late yet to come over and help me out. I don't know what kind of time frame he's got, but he's a full-time mechanic, so hopefully he can help get me past some of this stuff. But anyway, on to the biggest issue that I'm playing with today, which is Hedman headers. My 403 has 455 heads on it from a 1974 4.2. So they came off of 455. And that's pretty much all I know. I don't know if these cylinders were bored. I don't know what went on with these things. All I know is that the engine was running before it was taken out of the car that it was in. So, bought Hedman headers to match the actual heads themselves. And when I got them in, found out they were hitting the floor of the car. Causing me all sorts of issues, all sorts of heartache, and after a bunch of research on forums, on the internet, and then, ironically enough, it took the Trans Am groups on Facebook to help me out, and they're the ones that got me through this. Basically, what happened was the transmission mount that I had bought for this car, which is this one right here, which according to, I can't remember if I got it from National Parts Depot, Jegs, or Summit, but this is the original, and it is tall. I don't have an exact measurement as of right now because I don't have a tape measure over here with me, but this thing is tall. The energy suspension mount, and I'll show you the box here in a second, stops like right there. So it's literally half the size of this thing, and that was exactly what I needed in order to get me the clearance that I needed. So let me grab the energy suspension thing here. Now, it is part number 1135391 GM trans mount. The other number that's kind of bold is 3.1158, looks like Q. Anyway, I left the second plate off because I wanted to keep it as low as I could get it without having too many issues. It did come with 2 bolts and washers and lock washers, but because of the fact that the transmission was used or rebuilt, the ones that came with this kit would not work. So let me crawl up underneath the car here, and we'll show you guys what we got going on from there. All right, so we're underneath. Here was the issues I ran into. So I had to remove the drive shaft in order to get the other transmission mount out. The cross member, I had to unbolt that and slide it out of the way in order to just even get that old one out. The new one slid right in. There is this bolt right here that you screw in from the bottom into the actual bushing itself. No, everything's not lined up yet. I got to jack it back up and go through all that mess. But when you look at the headers, turn around. and make sure the light is not in everybody's eyes. You can see I've got clearance now, which I did not have before. So the collector flange, I've got it all the way pressed forward now, so that's good, which is exactly what I needed. The only issue I might see that I'm going to run into is going to be the reverse lockout rod. But because of the fact that this thing is on a spring, I'm hoping it's not going to cause too many issues and everything will still work the way it's supposed to. Which that'll be another video for another day. Other than that, you can see where I ran the fuel line. That's the big thicker line right there running down across the engine cross member. I redid the entire fuel line from the front to back, which connects right there. And it's all hidden in behind the actual fender itself, so that's fine. Still got to move a couple of little things, odds and ends around here and there. But that fits now, which was the biggest fight that I had with these headers. If you're curious as to which headers I went with, Hedman and number 58190. These had to be specially made. I had to wait like 6 months for these things. Drove me nuts waiting for them because I really wanted to get them here and get them in during the summertime, but that didn't work out so well for me. Yep, that's that. So looking at them from the front to the back, one word of advice that I can give you is when you go to put these things in, if you're going to have the same application that I got going on here, is start with this back bolt first. The one that's in, get you into a position here, right there. Because that hole right there is going to be the toughest one for you to deal with. So get that one in first, then the second and third. I went with Hedman's gaskets that came with them, but I've got to take these things out now so I can sand them down, prime them, and then paint them with a high heat paint or wrap them. I haven't decided which I'm going to do. Probably going to go with the paint, just because I don't like the way that the wrap looks after it's been heated up numerous times and whatever else. Let's see. So we got all of this mess back in the car again. Talked about the call case, so I got to deal with all that all over again. Power steering pump, all that's hooked back up. It's all stuff that I did while I was out and about. I don't remember if I ever posted the video when I put the new wiring harness in. This is literally just the engine wiring harness. There's one bolt right there. You take that bolt out and its whole assembly pops right out. This one, I had to. It's a separate piece. This is actually a two-piece type of system. So that was that. Oh, I need some word of advice from somebody. So if anybody happens to have an Accel HEI Supercoil 14005, please let me know what you did with the pink wire, which is the tack. And I'll show you that issue in a second. Now, keeping in mind, you got the pink wire back there. Pink wire is supposed to go to right here, where it says tack on this side. Should slide right into that one. And this one says battery. When I initially started playing with that, it didn't feel like it was going to fit in there. So if anybody has one of these, and you can fill me in on what it is I need to do to fix that issue, please, by all means, let me know, because I would greatly appreciate it. The other thing is the ground wire here. I'm not quite sure where the hell they had that ground wire at. It should go to someplace here on the firewall, but I can't find a spot on the firewall where that thing would have screwed into. So I don't know where the hell they had that one at. As you can see, I got this mess all torn apart because I'm going to be replacing all this with a vintage air system. I'm moving down to South Carolina next year, so I definitely want air conditioning down there if I'm going to be driving this car around. this mess here. So this was just pits here and there, little holes. Same thing over here, except for this spot right here. It was a nice big hole gap right there. And you can see this is kind of jacked up inside here. And then got the holes right there. Now, luckily, I can get my fingers in there, as you can see. So I can block that off with something and then fill all that in. This was literally the only spot that was rusted out. Everything else on here was as solid as could be, and when you look inside, there's literally no rust. So, not quite sure what caused all that, but I'm thinking if I can just fill all that in, instead of having to replace this entire cowl panel, I'd probably just be a lot better off. Now, when I get the windshield out, that may show me a different story. It may be all rotted away up underneath that windshield, in which case I'm going to have to take it out anyway. But if I can get away with not having to do it, that's exactly the route that I'm taking. So that's pretty much it, guys. That was the update. The transmission cooler lines that I did when I put the transmission in, it was rebuilt. Yeah, it was completely jacked. The transmission lines would not go into this radiator at all. Like I said, I got this thing out of a junkyard, and they were just completely toast. So I bought an aftermarket transmission cooler, ran the lines through there for that. But with the new cold case coming in, it's all going to get redone. I'm actually going with stainless steel braided lines instead of black braided stainless steel lines instead of the just tubing that usually comes with these cars. So that's pretty much it. So that's the update on the Trans Am. If you guys have any questions as to what I've done so far, or any hints, suggestions, anything of that nature, please by all means let me know. I'll be more than happy to take it with open arms. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for right now, guys. So any questions, hit me up. Hit that subscribe button. Help a boy out.